यावत् स्वस्थमिदं शरीरमरुजं यावज्जरादूरतो यावच्चेन्द्रियशक्तिरप्रतिहता यावत् क्षयो नायुषः आत्मश्रेयसि तावदेव विदुषा कार्यः प्रयत्नो महान् सन्दीप्ते भवने तु कूपखननं प्रत्युद्यमः कीदृशः.
Today we sit with one of the most piercing verses ever written about time, the body, and the cost of postponement. It comes from Bhartrihari, the legendary king turned renunciant, in his Vairagya Shataka, the century of dispassion. Listen to the sound of it first. Yavat swastam idam, shareeram arujam, yavat jara durataha, यावत् च इंद्रिय शक्ति अप्रतिहता यावत् क्षयो न आयुषः आत्मश्रेयसी तावद् एव विदुषा कार्यः प्रयत्नो महान् संदीप्ते भवने तु कूपखाननं प्रत्युद्यमः कीदृशः. Here is what it says. As long as this body is healthy and free from disease, as long as old age is still far away, as long as the power of the senses is unbroken, as long as life itself has not begun to ebb, just so long and only so long should the wise person make the great effort toward the highest good of the self. Because when the house is already on fire, what use is it to start digging a well? Let us walk through the words, because the Sanskrit hides treasures. The verse is built on a drum beat. Yavat, 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 yavat. As long as, as long as, as long as, as long as. 4 windows named one by one. The first is swastham, healthy. But look inside that word. Swa means one's own, and stha means standing. Health in Sanskrit is literally standing in your own natural state. And the word for body, shareeram, comes from the root shri, which means to decay, to wither. So the very word for body means that which is always falling apart. Bhartrihari did not need to argue that the body is temporary. The language itself confesses it. The second window, jara durtaha, old age is still at a distance. The third, indriya shakti apratihata, the power of the senses is unstruck, unobstructed. Your eyes still see clearly. Your ears still hear. Your mind still grasps new things. The fourth, chayo na ayushaha, the lifespan, the ayus, is not yet draining away. And then the turn, atmashreyasi, for the highest good of the self. That word shreyas is precious. The Katha Upanishad teaches that 2 things approach every human being: Shreyas, the truly good, and Preyas, the merely pleasant. The wise choose the good, the rest of us choose the pleasant, again and again, and call it living. Bhartrihari says, while the 4 windows are open, the wise person, Vidusha, the one who knows, must make prayatno mahan, a great effort toward Shreyas. Not a casual effort, a great one. And the grammar is a command, not a suggestion. Karya, it must be done. Then comes the image that has echoed for 15 centuries. Sandipte bhavane, when the house is fully ablaze. Koopa khananam, the digging of a well. Kidrishaha, what kind of effort is that? It is a rhetorical question, and the answer is meant to sting. It is absurd. It is too late. Water is drawn in an emergency, but a well can only be dug in ordinary time. And here is the deeper secret of the verse. The burning house is not a future event. The fire was lit the day you were born. Remember, shareeram means that which is already decaying. Bhartrihari is not saying your house might catch fire someday. He is saying the smoke is already in the walls, and most of us are still browsing for shovels. Notice how the verse overturns our common wisdom. The world says youth is for enjoyment and old age is for God. Bhartrihari flips it completely. Spiritual work is effortful work. It requires energy, sharp senses, a strong body, and time. Exactly the resources we spend on everything else. Old age is when the well is needed, not when it can be dug. This wisdom is not only Indian. Seneca, the Roman Stoic, wrote that men learn how to live only when life is already spent. The Buddha's very last words were, "Strive on with diligence." Ecclesiastes says, "Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come." And modern psychology has given the old warning a new name: temporal discounting. Brain studies show that when we think of our future self, we process that person almost like a stranger. That is why later feels so cheap to say. Bhartrihari saw the bias 2500 years before the brain scanners did. So, how do we live this verse? 3 questions to carry into your contemplation. First, of the 4 windows, health, youth, senses, lifespan, which are open for me right now? And am I living as if they will never close? Second, what is the one inner work I keep postponing until things settle down? And is that day ever actually going to arrive? Third, if a real fire came this year, illness, loss, grief, what well could I draw from today? Is there any water in it? And one practice starting today. A well is dug one basket of earth at a time. So give the first 20 minutes of your best energy each morning to Atma Shreyas. Before the phone, before the news, before work. Sit in silence or repeat a sacred name, or study one verse, or write honestly about who you are beneath your roles. The practice matters less than the sequencing. Pay the self first. And each morning, as you begin, remember the image. Say quietly to yourself, "The house is already warm. Today I dig." May your well be deep before the fire ever reaches the door.
यावत् स्वस्थमिदं शरीरमरुजं यावज्जरादूरतो यावच्चेन्द्रियशक्तिरप्रतिहता यावत् क्षयो नायुषः आत्मश्रेयसि तावदेव विदुषा कार्यः प्रयत्नो महान् सन्दीप्ते भवने तु कूपखननं प्रत्युद्यमः कीदृशः।